After the New Year holiday, my wife had her assistant host the back-to-work ceremony. At the meeting, Wang Yang distributed red envelopes to every employee, except me. I was about to step forward and question him when he publicly mocked and ridiculed me. Qin Feng, you've been freeloading in this company for so many years. How dare you come here begging? I smiled slightly at him, tore up my employee ID on the spot, and called my wife. I heard that Gu's group wants to fire me. Is that true? At that moment, everyone's attention was on me. The phone rang several times before being answered. Then Gu Qianqian's impatient voice came from the phone. Qin Feng, what are you going crazy about again? This meeting is very important to the company. Can't you wait until I get back to talk about it? I glanced at Wang Yang out of the corner of my eye and said firmly, no. The next second, Gu Qianqian on the other end of the phone started cursing at me. Yes, I told Wang Yang to fire you. Are you satisfied now? I paused and spoke again. Give me a reason. Gu Qianqian chuckled and said coldly, a reason? Do I, the chairman of Gu's group, need a reason to fire someone? You've held the position of sales manager for 3 whole years without making a single sale. How can you have the nerve to ask me why? By the end, even though I turned the phone volume to the lowest setting, Gu Qianqian's voice still echoed throughout the venue. Qin Feng, listen to me. My Gu's group doesn't support useless people. After saying those last words, she hung up the phone directly. The scene fell silent. Everyone heard that, right? Even President Gu said Qin Feng is useless. Why keep someone like that in the company? Wang Yang stood on the stage, looking at me with a smug expression. I advise you to pack your things and go home to wash up and go to sleep. Halfway through his sentence, he suddenly smiled at me. Eating soft rice. You should act like you're eating soft rice. Do you think I'm right, Mr. Qin? I looked at him expressionlessly and sneered. According to Assistant Wang, I'm redundant in this company, am I? Seeing me deliberately walk into his line of fire, Wang Yang's face was splitting with smiles. What else? You're either playing on your phone or playing games during work hours, and you don't know anything about business. If it weren't for your relationship with President Gu, you would have been fired long ago. Keeping a useless person like you in the company is simply a waste of resources. I raised my index finger and shook it gently. No. I think what Assistant Wang said earlier is all correct, but there's one thing I don't agree with. Seeing me so confident, Wang Yang's eyes showed surprise. What don't you agree with? You don't think Gu's group can't do without you, do you? I smiled slightly at him, then nodded emphatically. You're right. If I leave the company, Gu's group will go bankrupt immediately. As soon as the words fell, the silent venue exploded with chatter. My God, this guy's too good at bragging. Our Gu's is at least a listed company, one of the top 500 in the country. How could it go bankrupt because of a small manager like him? Exactly. This guy just relies on being the chairman's husband, loafs around all day, doesn't do any work, and has been getting paid for 3 years for nothing. How disgusting. How can there be such a person in this world? Gigolo, soft rice man, go die. The insults around me grew louder and louder, but I didn't care at all, because every word I said was the truth. Gu's group was able to jump from a small company with only a few people 3 years ago to a listed group with tens of thousands of employees today, all thanks to me alone, or rather, the power behind me. Had absolutely no connection to the President Gu they spoke of. Back then, Gu Minghai, the founder of the Gu Group, traveled thousands of miles from Suzhou to the capital just to beg me to marry his granddaughter. And he even had a marriage certificate in his hand. It did indeed have my grandfather's signature on it. I was young back then and didn't understand what love was. I just felt that since Grandpa had arranged it that way, there must be a reason. But I never expected that after single-handedly building the Gu Group into the powerhouse it is today, they'd turn around and call me a useless bum. Thinking of this, my anger level surged. Immediately, I decided to find Gu Minghai and ask him directly if the Gu family was planning to turn against me. If he continued to let Gu Qianqian be the chairman, I wouldn't mind taking the Gu family back to where it was 3 years ago. Wait, just as I turned to leave, Wang Yang's voice came from behind. Hey Qin, are you just going to leave like that? I slowly turned around and looked at the stage. What? Is Assistant Wang planning to keep me for dinner? Wang Yang stared at me with a sly smile for a long time before speaking. Before you go, you have to leave the company's things behind. I narrowed my eyes and met his gaze. I've already given you my employee ID. What else could there be? Wang Yang chuckled and raised the microphone. Take off your company uniform. As soon as he finished speaking, the entire venue erupted again. Most of the employees looked at me with schadenfreude. Only a few who were close to me gave me concerned looks. It's true that when a wall falls, everyone pushes it. When I was the manager, everyone called me Brother Chin, Brother Chin. Now that I've been fired, not a single person stood up to speak for me. Is this the employee quality of a listed company? As I see it, 3 years was too fast for the Gu family to grow the company to this point. Seeing that I didn't speak, Wang Yang's tone became impatient. Hey, Chin, I'm talking to you. Are you pretending not to hear me? I smiled and looked at him calmly. What if I don't take it off? Growing up, you're the first person who's dared to threaten me to my face. I don't know who gave you the courage. Wang Yang raised his eyebrows, his eyes full of contempt, as if he didn't take me seriously at all. Boy, even your wife doesn't want you anymore. What qualifications do you have to act tough in front of me? After hearing his words, I couldn't help but laugh. Who told you that I need to rely on Gu Qianqian? As soon as I finished speaking, several employees who were close to Wang Yang bombarded me one after another. Oh, who's talking here? It turns out it's President Gu's pet dog. That's right. Anyone who didn't know better would think you had some amazing identity. You're just a gold-digging gigolo. If President Gu knew about this, I'm afraid you'd have to kneel on a washboard all night when you got back. They spoke while laughing, looking very excited. I silently wrote down their names. If I'm not mistaken, you guys are with Wang Yang, right? As an excellent businessman, keen insight is a basic skill. From the beginning of the meeting, these people had been exchanging glances with Wang Yang. The red envelopes they received were also the largest, almost overflowing. The company had previously clearly stipulated that the New Year's red envelopes were the same amount for everyone, regardless of rank or position. But these few were clearly different from the other employees. It seemed that Wang Yang had done something behind the scenes. It's a pity that Gu Qianqian was so naive to entrust such an important job to him. Even I, the behind-the-scenes boss, couldn't stand to watch this. You little bastard, what nonsense are you spouting? We have nothing to do with Assistant Wang. That's right, we just couldn't stand you hogging company resources. So we spoke up. What right does a kept man like you have to question us? I tried my best to remain calm, glaring at them fiercely. I admit I'm indeed better looking than all of you, and younger too, but halfway through my sentence, I suddenly raised my voice, my gaze becoming sharp. Personally, I really dislike the term kept man. I hope you won't mention it again in the future. Otherwise, I'll get angry, and the consequences will be severe. The aura I suddenly exuded frightened these lackeys. They couldn't utter a word for a long time. Wang Yang's expression immediately changed when he saw someone bullying his subordinate. You little punk, I really gave you an inch, didn't I? You're just an unemployed bum fired by the company, and you dare lecture my employees in front of me. Let me tell you, today I'm not only firing you, but I'm also going to make you run naked. You son of a bitch. After hearing Wang Yang's words, I almost couldn't help but laugh. It seemed the business world in Suzhou was much more interesting than in Beijing. At least I could watch clowns perform. Assistant Wang, can your words represent the company? I looked at him calmly, but I was very excited inside. As soon as I finished speaking, Wang Yang waved his hand. Of course. Kid, let me be clear, President Gu is about to divorce you. She never liked you from the beginning. I grinned, a slight smile on my face, without a trace of panic. Oh, is that so? Did Gu Qianqian really tell you that? Wang Yang nodded subconsciously, his eyes full of contempt. Otherwise, you don't actually think the chairman of a publicly listed company would like a good-for-nothing like you, do you? If it weren't for the old chairman's sake, you would have been kicked out long ago. It seemed my guess was right. The Gu family felt their wings had hardened and wanted to fly solo. But they had clearly chosen the wrong person. This tactic of using someone and then discarding them was useless on me. Since I could make the Gu family the leader of the 4 major families in Suzhou in such a short time, I could also drag them down from the altar and make them lose everything. For me, it was just a matter of a phone call. But now I suddenly changed my mind. This game of hawk and chicks had to be played to the best of its ability to be interesting. After all, the protagonist hasn't even appeared yet. How can it end so quickly? Wang Yang didn't know what I was planning at the moment. Seeing me standing still, he thought I had chickened out and became even more unscrupulous. Hey, surname Chin, so many people are waiting. Are you going to strip or not? If you don't do it, I'll find someone to help you strip. Saying that, he raised a microphone and shouted towards the door. Security, get your asses in here. Following Wang Yang's loud call, more than a dozen staff members wearing GU Group badges poured into the venue instantly. Under Wang Yang's command, these security guards quickly rushed towards me, surrounding me. At the same time, Wang Yang had already walked down from the stage. However, he was very timid, only daring to stand behind the security guards about 2 meters away from me. Assistant Wang, are you trying to forcibly attack me? Don't forget, I'm not divorced yet. Aren't you afraid that President Gu will blame you later? As soon as I finished speaking, Wang Yang laughed loudly. I knew you would use President Gu as a shield. Luckily, I was prepared. Saying that, he took out his phone in front of everyone and called Gu Qianqian. After the phone was connected, he handed the phone over with a sinister smile. President Gu has something to say to you. Gu Qianqian's voice quickly came from the other end of the phone. Qin Feng, I want a divorce. I said blankly. Judging by your tone, President Gu must have already found a replacement, right? I could feel Gu Qianqian's excitement, even through the screen. How much money do you want? Name your price. As long as you agree to divorce me, you can name the price. She didn't directly answer my question, and I wasn't in a hurry either. Slow and steady wins the race. I don't need the money. I believe the Gu family will be ruined before long. Saying that, I suddenly changed the subject, my tone becoming colder. I just want to know one thing. Who exactly dared to interfere and to try to steal my woman? Gu Qianqian sensed my anger and immediately sneered. You're not worthy to know his name. But I can tell you, this person is from the capital, a height you can never reach. After hearing Gu Qianqian's words, I almost laughed out loud. Being from the same place as me, how could I not know? I was just a little curious. Who exactly could it be? Daring to steal my woman. That's just courting death. Before I could speak, Wang Yang snatched the phone back. All right. Even if President Gu tells you who it is, what can you do? I advise you to just obediently take off your clothes. That way you can at least get some severance pay. For a freeloader like you, isn't that a win-win transaction? Faced with Wang Yang's repeated provocations, I didn't fall out with him, but instead repeatedly endured them. Not because I was afraid of him, but because I hadn't figured out who was behind him. Now that the truth has surfaced, I naturally don't need to indulge him anymore. Enough. My eyes swept around the room. Looks like we can't have this meeting today. I'm giving everyone here 2 choices. Those who are smart can leave quickly. The rest, I'll consider you my enemies. Qin Feng's enemies. I never show mercy to my enemies. As soon as I finished speaking, the surrounding employees burst out laughing. Everyone heard that, right? Qin Feng, you don't still think you're the manager, do you? Everyone heard that phone call, just now. Even President Gu has abandoned you. What qualifications do you have to spout nonsense here? I suppressed the anger in my heart and slowly opened my mouth. I don't know if you've all heard the saying, there's always someone better than you. I, Qin Feng, have never relied on women to get things done. I looked at the laughing faces in front of me with disappointment. Is this what the workplace is like? Whether they call me a kept man or a pretty boy, I always treated it as a joke. But I didn't expect that just because Gu Qianqian wanted to divorce me, everyone was laughing at me. Is this the consequence of being too low-key? Because of my special identity, I've been hiding for years, rarely showing my face in public. Even if I occasionally heard company employees gossiping about me behind my back, I would just laugh it off. But I didn't expect that my usual easygoing attitude had become the capital for these people to be arrogant. Seeing that I hadn't moved, Wang Yang's face immediately fell. Hey, Qin, I'll count to 3, and if you don't take it off, I'll let them attack you. I put my hands in my pockets and glanced at him sideways. All right. I've played along with you long enough. It's time to show some strength. Wang Yang was instantly enraged by my words and rolled up his sleeves and charged towards me. Just then, the conference room door suddenly opened. All the employees, including Wang Yang, turned their heads in unison. A young man about my age swaggered in. Mr. Qin, I hear you've been asking about me. Oh, holy young master, what brings you here? Wang Yang exclaimed in shock, and everyone turned to look, welcoming this mysterious figure. Judging by that tone, You must be the one from the capital? The man raised an eyebrow flippantly and slowly walked towards me. You're right. I have taken a liking to your wife. If the Gu family wants to develop in the capital, they naturally need the support of my Bei family. In exchange, she's more than willing to be my woman. What's the problem with that? The man's attitude was extremely arrogant, not even glancing at me as he spoke. So, the young Master Huang is here today to force me to divorce. Bei Chen nodded, looking at me with feigned pity. Mr. Qin, as far as I know, you and your wife have been married for 3 years and haven't even held hands, have you? That's just too good a deal for me. Haha. He burst into unrestrained laughter. Hearing his words, instead of getting angry, I waved my hand at him. Since young Master Huang likes other men's wives so much, I'll just give her to you. Then I suddenly laughed. I just wonder, how did a piece of trash like you come out from under the emperor's nose? As soon as I said that, Bei Chen's face immediately turned black, and his voice began to tremble. Qin, how dare you insult me? Do you know what the cap? If you anger me today, believe it or not, your entire family will pay the price. I looked up at him and chuckled. The Bei family of the capital is nothing special. It's not as impressive as you say. However, what you said last reminded me. Indeed, if you anger me, your entire Bei family will pay the price. As soon as I finished speaking, I threw a punch straight at his face. This young master from the capital was used to a life of luxury and didn't even have time to react. He was immediately knocked to the ground by my punch. Everyone present was stunned by this scene, their jaws dropping. Damn, this guy is too tough. He even dares to hit someone from the capital. Does he have no fear? Tell me about it. If I were him, I'd just divorce obediently. Why did he have to resort to violence? Dare to hurt a member of the Bei family? Even Jesus can't save him today. As the surrounding chatter grew louder, Wang Yang finally reacted. He ran to Bei Chen and helped him up. Then he turned around, looking at me with malicious glee. Qin, you're finished. Young Master Huang will never let you go. I waved my hand dismissively. Assistant Wang, you have it backwards. The question isn't whether he'll let me go, but whether I'll let go of his Bei family. As soon as I finished speaking, Bei Chen immediately came to his senses. He rubbed his jaw, then looked up, staring at me with bloodshot eyes. You little bastard, you dare to hit me? Today I'm going to take your life. With that, he shoved Wang Yang. Get him. Kill this guy for me today. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Yang immediately rolled up his sleeves and charged towards me. Stop right there. Just as he was less than a meter away from me, an urgent voice came from outside the door. Everyone turned around in curiosity. An elderly man with a cane slowly walked into the conference room. Gu Minghai, why is the old man here? Seeing the scene before him, Gu Minghai instantly understood what was going on. He ran, panting, to my side and gave me a deep bow. Mr. Qin, I'm terribly sorry, I'm late. Luckily, I was quick enough to help him up. Otherwise, I would have been accused of disrespecting the elderly. Grandpa Gu, you don't have to be so polite. I no longer have any relationship with your Gu family. Gu Minghai opened his mouth as if to say something, but seeing the determination in my eyes, he could only vent his anger on his assistant. A loud slap was heard, and 5 bright red finger marks instantly appeared on Wang Yang's face. Idiot, do you know what you're doing? Wang Yang was obviously stunned by the slap, and looked at the old mister. Gu in confusion. Mister, Gu, why are you hitting me? This gentleman is the young master from the Bei family in Beijing. Is there a problem with me helping him vent his anger? You got big problems, I thought to myself, secretly pleased. Helping an outsider against your own company's employee, that alone is enough to get you fired 100 times. Gu Minghai, who had finally calmed down, was infuriated by Wang Yang's actions, and he trembled all over with anger. You still have a nerve to ask me why? I don't care where he's from. Anyone who disrespects Mr. Qin deserves to be hit. Wang Yang, I'm warning you, if Mr. Qin suffers even the slightest injury today, I will hold you responsible. Gu Minghai's words were forceful, but Wang Yang's mind was a mess. He couldn't understand how I, a mere son-in-law of the Gu family, could compare to a young master from Beijing. Mr. Gu, aren't you getting senile? Are you sure you'd rather offend young Master Huang to protect this good-for-nothing? Young Master Huang represents the Bei family of Beijing. If you offend him, how will the Gu Corporation survive in the future? The surrounding employees nodded in agreement after hearing Wang Yang's words. But Gu Minghai didn't think so. Perhaps in the eyes of outsiders, he was already halfway into his coffin, unable to discern the current situation. But only I knew that he was doing this to protect the Gu family, making a last-ditch effort. I found an excellent vantage point and sat down, temporarily handing over the stage to the founder of the Gu Corporation. Gu Minghai's performance did not disappoint me. Despite his age, he pointed his finger at Wang Yang's nose and cursed without regard for his image. Wang Yang, I, as the founder, order you to apologize to Mr. Qin immediately, otherwise you don't need to come back. With that, he dropped his cane, straightened his back, and stood in front of me. Today, anyone who dares to touch Mr. Qin must step over my dead body. Gu Minghai's words were like the last straw that broke Wang Yang's back. On one side was the Bei family from Beijing, and on the other was the founder of the Gu Corporation. He couldn't afford to offend either side. Just as he was struggling, Gu Qianqian appeared. She rushed into the venue carrying a briefcase, looking like she had just finished a meeting. The moment she saw me, Gu Qianqian was furious. Qin Feng, how dare you attack young Master Huang? Hurry up and go apologize. I slowly raised my head and met her gaze. Miss Gu, I think the person who should apologize is you. After hearing my words, a trace of surprise flashed in Gu Qianqian's eyes, but quickly disappeared. Qin Feng, don't blame me. Blame yourself for being useless. The Gu family is now the leader of the 4 major families in Suzhou, and the only way to take it to the next level is to enter Beijing. Choosing the Bei family of Beijing is naturally the best choice right now. I looked up at her and said coldly, So you've been lying to me from the start, haven't you? I almost never interfered with the company's business, but this time, Gu Qianqian's actions made me very angry. She actually wanted to divorce me for an outsider. You're right. The reason I married you before was only because Grandpa forced me to. Now that I'm older, I naturally have my own thoughts. I looked at her coldly and spoke slowly. Gu Qianqian, what you're doing is marital infidelity. You know that. I stared at Gu Qianqian as I spoke, but she didn't dare meet my gaze. Before she could speak, Bei Chun stepped forward from behind her. What infidelity? You're saying all this because you want money, right? Name your price. I have plenty of money. I looked at the ignorant young master from the capital like he was a clown. Young Master Huang, don't say I didn't warn you. Even if you're from the capital, you'll have to pay for your actions today. As soon as I finished speaking, Gu Qianqian was immediately unhappy. Qin, stop trying to scare people. You're just a dog the Gu family raised. We've been married for so long, and you haven't done anything useful. You spend all day slacking off at the company, not trying to improve. Let me tell you the truth. If it weren't for Grandpa, I would have divorced you a long time ago. What do you mean I don't do anything useful? Wasn't it all thanks to me that the Gu family rose to prominence? I guess Gu Minghai was afraid of revealing my identity, which is why he didn't tell his granddaughter the truth. I don't blame him for that. After all, it's always better to be low-key when you're born into a powerful family. Gu Qianqian's words immediately caused an uproar of laughter. Everyone heard that, right? Apart from being a little handsome, a gigolo like him is completely useless. Exactly. Young Master Huang is from the capital, which is much better than this good-for-nothing. If our CEO Gu marries young Master Huang, the company will be able to do business in the capital. The people around her kept flattering Bei Chun, but no one stood up to speak for me. It seemed that all they cared about were benefits and exchanges, and morality and values were not important at all. With employees like this, the company is probably not far from going bankrupt. Gu Qianqian, you want a divorce, right? I can grant you that, but I have one request. Gu Qianqian looked at me with disdain. Say it, what do you want? Money or a house? I can give you anything. I shook my head with a smile. I just want to tell you, don't come crying and begging me to come back after the divorce. Gu Qianqian thought I was still struggling, and her tone became even more contemptuous. May the one who regrets it be a dog, okay? Seeing her smug expression, the last bit of goodwill I had towards the Gu family disappeared. Gu Qianqian, I think you've misunderstood me. I never intended to persuade you to change your mind. I just want to tell you that the entire Gu family will be destroyed because of you, and this Beishang Huang from the capital will suffer the same fate. I originally intended to spare the Gu family for the sake of the older generation's friendship, but some people just didn't appreciate it. Like Gu Qianqian standing in front of me. Bah, Qin Feng, why don't you take a piss and look at yourself? What do you have to compare with young Master Huang? Bei Chun can crush you with just one finger. Gu Qianqian wanted to continue, but I quickly waved my hand. Enough. I won't waste any more words. Let's do as you said, divorce. Gu Minghai was furious when he saw this scene. But no matter how he tried to persuade her, Gu Qianqian wouldn't listen, and even had people control him. The divorce papers are already prepared. All you have to do is sign. Looking at the stack of documents on the table, it further confirmed my previous guess. From the beginning when I was fired by Wang Yang, to the appearance of the capital's young Master Huang, and finally Gu Qianqian forcing me to divorce in public. Everything that happened today was planned by her. Naturally, I wouldn't show any mercy to someone like that. I signed my name without hesitation and handed it back. Gu Qianqian showed a hint of dissatisfaction in her eyes at my decisiveness. Qin Feng, what are you smiling about? I looked up at her, my tone devoid of any emotion. What? Am I not allowed to be happy, just like you? It's just the Gu family. It's nothing to me. A mere word is all it takes. I advise you to sign quickly too, lest your northern prince doesn't want you anymore. Yang Jiji's face flushed red from my retort. I'll sign. It's not like anyone cares about you. Gu Qianqian glared at me fiercely, then signed her name on the divorce agreement as well. From that moment on, my 3-year marriage finally came to an end. I don't know why, but when I saw her sign her name, I didn't feel the slightest bit of sadness. Instead, I felt a sense of relief all over. After signing the divorce agreement, Gu Qianqian glared at me again. The formalities are done. You can disappear from my sight now. Miss Gu, don't be in such a hurry. I sneered, my tone devoid of any emotion. Now that I have nothing to do with your Gu family, it's time to settle today's accounts. As soon as I finished speaking, Bei Chun, who hadn't spoken for a long time, stepped forward. Boy, did I hear you right? You just said you wanted to settle accounts with me? Qin, do you know who I am? Seeing Prince Huang personally standing up for her, Gu Qianqian's face immediately lit up with excitement. Seeing this scene, I couldn't help but laugh. The Bei family from the capital, right? You're just as stupid as this woman. You should see if you're qualified before you act tough. Before Bei Chun could speak, Gu Qianqian couldn't wait to jump out. Qin Feng, open your dog eyes and take a good look. Prince Huang here comes from the Bei family, one of the 4 great families in the capital. Were you even? Gu Qianqian became more and more agitated, and she almost spat on my face. I slowly stood up and calmly took out my phone. Hey, tell the Bei family their dog bit me. After hanging up, I looked at the clock on the wall and started counting silently in my head. Before I could count to 10, the phone in Bei Chen's pocket rang. He stared at me in shock for a long time, then answered it tremblingly. Hello, Dad, it's Xiao Chun. The next second, a roar from the other end of the phone echoed throughout the room. You good for nothing. You're causing trouble for me all day long. Do you think you're grown up enough? Bei Chun gave an embarrassed smile. Dad, can't you speak nicely? There are people around me. Give me some face. As soon as he finished speaking, the person on the other end became even more agitated, even wishing he could crawl out of the phone. Don't call me Dad. I don't have such an ignorant son. I'll say it one last time. If you still want to return to the Bei family, quickly apologize to Mr. Qin. Otherwise, I'll sever our father-son relationship right now. Bei Chun had never seen his father so angry, and he was so scared that he wet his pants on the spot. The moment he hung up the phone, he trembled and came to me, bowing in a 90-degree angle. Mr. Qin, I was wrong. I'll leave now. I pinched my nose and frowned. Get out of here, and don't ever appear in front of me again. Suzhou doesn't welcome you. As soon as I finished speaking, Bei Chun scurried away with his tail between his legs. From the moment he answered the phone to the moment Bei Chun left, the whole process took less than 10 minutes, and everyone stared at me in a daze. What exactly is going on? How could Qin Feng know people from the capital? Yeah, he hasn't left Suzhou since he joined the company. Could it be that he's a hidden big shot? Don't scare me like that. If this is true, then our goo group is completely finished. Ignoring the surrounding whispers, I slowly walked up to Gu Qianqian, looking at her with a half smile. Miss Gu, now it's your turn. Gu Qianqian stared at me dumbfounded. Qin Feng, who exactly are you? Before I could speak, the elderly Gu Minghai rushed over, ignoring his body. Qianqian, shut up right now. Haven't you caused enough trouble already? Gu Minghai finally snapped after holding back for so long. Don't you understand, even now, why I wanted you to marry Mr. Qin back then? I wouldn't say anything if it were anyone else today, but you just had to offend Mr. Qin. If it weren't for Mr. Qin, would the Gu group be where it is today? Gu Minghai's words landed with a thud, and the entire venue fell silent. No wonder the Gu family could expand their business throughout Suzhou. It was inseparable from Gu Minghai's decisive decision-making. That wedding back then was the best proof. After hearing her father's words, Gu Qianqian was completely stunned. While everyone was still shocked by my identity, Gu Qianqian knelt in front of me, tears streaming down her face. The way everyone at the annual meeting looked at me had undergone a complete change from before, filled with astonishment. Even the previously arrogant Wang Yang was now cowering in a corner, trembling. I looked down at her and sighed softly. You should thank your grandfather for saving you. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be able to kneel here and talk to me. After hearing my words, Gu Qianqian's face was filled with tears of regret. Husband, I know I was wrong. It was just a moment of impulse. Can we start over? I promise I'll listen to you from now on and never let my imagination run wild again. By the end, Gu Qianqian's voice began to choke with sobs. The Gu group can't be ruined in my hands. I curled my lips into a cold smile. Gu Qianqian, I used to think you were just a bit capricious, but I never expected you to dare to have an affair. If I hadn't noticed something was wrong this time, I'm afraid you and Bei Chun would have already had a child. Your Gu family better keep a low profile from now on, or I wouldn't mind making you bankrupt again. These last words were also addressed to Gu Minghai. While stating my position, it was also giving face to this veteran who had dominated the business world for many years. After all, his relationship with my grandfather was extraordinary. Otherwise, I wouldn't have agreed to this marriage. The grandfather and granddaughter looked at each other and lowered their heads in unison. After Bei Chun was taken back to Kyoto, Wang Yang naturally lost his backing and could only be at my disposal. But I didn't even glance at him and directly turned and left. Gu Minghai wanted to persuade me to stay, but I refused outright. I, Qin Feng, have no interest in a woman who has cheated. As for what would happen to the Gu family in the future, that was none of my business. I had both fulfilled my grandfather's promise and saved face for the Gu family. On the flight back to Kyoto, I received a text message from Gu Qianqian. The content was simple, just a short sentence. Qin Feng, I'm sorry. After reading it, I directly chose to delete and block her. From now on, she and I would be strangers, each living our own lives. The end. End of full text.